How far did you say they're from the road?
Probably a good 300 feet.
Okay. These are cars going by. The first noise wasn't triggered by anything. Could you attribute that sound to anything there when you were inside?
No.
There's nothing there you can make that noise with?
No.
Now again, car went by and a slamming window maybe. But again, that sounds like something, like a chest is opening or whatever. Nothing's going by. Those are footprints.
Yeah.
Footsteps. Those are men's steps. Those are men's steps.
Yes, they are.
Sounded like it was just going through papers or something.
Or scraping something.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever that walking entity went to, it's right there right now. It has not walked away. Where is the recorder at?
The recorder is sitting in a windowsill in the living room area, and there are no blinds, there are no curtains.
Were the windows closed?
And the windows are closed. And they're the double pane, really good sealed windows. So I'm not sure. They're cupboard doors. A couple of them remind me of cupboard doors.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
It also sounds at one point like it takes its finger or such and taps the recorder 3 times.
Now, there is a theory when vehicles go by, that can somehow give energy to spirit, just like any other movement. Now, that sounded like a door closing or a cupboard closing again.
Yeah.
Now, if that was to be looked at by many, many teams, they probably would throw that out. Because when the car goes by, something's flapping. We're 5 minutes into it. Is there something that happens beyond
Wherever, well, look at where the bleeps are. You can actually fast forward that to where the spikes are.
Got it.
And then you'll be able to just do it just before.
Now a truck went by there and there was no flapping.
Right. And it's 300 foot from the road at least, so it's not like they're causing the wind to backlash into the house.
Right. This is the last bleep on it.
You hear that little tap, 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 tap?
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost like it was touching the mic on the recorder to see if it would what it was doing.
I rewound it. Well, the interesting part was right there.
Yeah.
Walking into the room. All right. So there was nothing going by at that time. There was no burglar in the house. There was no chest. There was nothing there, furniture-wise, that could emulate those sounds.
There's zero furniture in the house. There's no blinds on the windows. And all the windows are closed. The doors are locked. They have carpeting all through the living room, which is where the front door is. So the back door opens up into a porch, which walks through the kitchen. So the footsteps had to have been through the kitchen where the wood, or where the linoleum flooring is. The steps, we heard a lot of activity on the stairs while we were there. There's also a closet door under the stairs that we heard whispers and got EVPs off of, and we could hear the stairs would squeak, or you could hear definite padded footsteps, but not footsteps like you just heard there, which is on flooring.
And that flooring may have existed in that house or in some other house 70 years ago, 100 years ago, and you're hearing either residual or intelligent. And people say, how could it be intelligent? Well, when an intelligent spirit walks in today's environment, and it was here 100 years ago,
Yeah.
it walks on, and whatever the house looked like then, it walks as if the house was there, and it violates today's laws. It may walk through a wall because back then there was no wall.
That's true. We did get evidence of an intelligent being, person, spirit, ghost there. It did answer questions with the EMF detectors, and there's no electric at all that goes to the house, so those weren't influenced by any electric that was in the house. We asked it if it was here, if it was male, if it was female. We asked all sorts of questions, and we did get answers. So it would light up when we would ask it a question. And another time when I went there, it would light up in every room that we went to, and as soon as we asked a question, it would leave. And we went in the next room, and it would light up, and we'd ask a question, and it would stop bleeping. So it's like we were chasing it all over the house. Psychically, I did pick up on a couple of different spirits that are there, a couple different ghosts that are still hanging around.
All right, so there's a couple different ghosts, but did you get any responses verbally on your recorders from this entity at all?
This was just last week, so we haven't gone over that yet to find out what's on there. And this, at the time, we also had a lot of people in the house because it was with a tour, so it's kind of hard to get clear evidence when that's why we left it running overnight. With that many people around, there's too much noise. There's a lot of whispering in other rooms. There, it can be debunked too easy.
Yeah.
But everybody had a riot. We did have the EMF detectors going off like crazy. We had motion detectors going off in a room where nobody was. We had responses, yes or no responses on the EMF reads. We had temperature changes of over 10 degrees where people thought that they were being touched. So, yeah, you could actually feel it with your hand, how cold it was on this one girl's head. And she said she was being touched there, and the temperature gauge went down over 10 on that.
The interesting thing is it could be other spirits unrelated to, because, spirits drift. And they'll come in and out and kind of screw up an investigation, and they'll start answering questions. We had a spirit come in to an old house that we thought was an old one because our K2 was all red, and then when we finally got responses back, it had an African American accent talking about Rihanna. Oh yeah, so I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to talk to you, and that was the wrong thing to say, but and she was just cruising by, and it's too bad. I'm just wondering because those boot sounds, if it was not residual, then that was a man walking. Chicks don't walk that way. And walking with boots on a wooden floor of sorts that was relative to him in that time. So if spirit exists today, they do not follow the rules of the floor plan of the house. That's why they go through walls. And people go, how do they do that? Because it's not there in their dimension. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
And sometimes they move a little faster or slower and faster. You'll see them. I posted something not too long ago of a shadow man at a soccer stadium. And he would just rifle fast and slow down and rifle fast again. Because I don't know why, but everything, the time element between us and them must got screwed up. What needs to be done in this house, and I don't know if you agree, is that you need with another person to go through there so you're not bombarded with all of these other entities coming in and kind of fogging you, right?
Yeah.
So before we go, and we're coming up to 2 hours went fast. When you met me, do you make plans in some way to get in that house, okay? Please? Okay. Thank you. When you met me, you had looked at me and said some things that a normal man would just get up and walk away. You said something like, I'm very negative, you have this, you have that. But I took the time to listen because I wanted to see if you were real too. You were spot on in a lot of things you said, and you mentioned about an entity that was attached to me.
Yes, you did.
A dark a dark entity which can control not your thoughts, but can propel emotions into those thoughts of yours or mine, and kind of change the momentum of your ship.
Yep, and change your thing.
Can you tell me